The story of Job isn't one we usually turn to for comfort. It's raw, it's unsettling. I'm going through it right now. It breaks all the formulas of that we likely need to rely on. But here's a man blameless and upright, a man who feared God, honored him, and turned from evil, and yet he loses everything. He loses his wealth, his health, his children, and heaven goes quiet. Worse is behind the scenes, we learn something that Job never does, that there was a divine conversation that triggered all of this, a heavenly test that cost Job nearly everything. But he never got that explanation. Still, Job says, though he slay me, yet I will trust him. See, let that sink in. See, Job doesn't say, when I understand, I'll trust. He doesn't wait for the answers, for reasons, or closure. He trusts God when heaven feels like a contradiction to him. When the God who once blessed him now seems silent. When his prayers echo without reply. And that's what makes Job's faith remarkable. It's not that he never wrestled. It's that he never walked away. He questioned, he cried, he cursed the day that he was even born, but he never cursed God. He never let grief become a rebellion. He never stopped believing that somehow God was still just, even when it didn't feel like it was happening. This story reminds us that true faith isn't built on outcomes. It's built on trust. Faith that can be shaken by pain was never really anchored to begin with. See, Job's life shouts the truth that we all need to hear. Even when heaven feels silent, we can still trust the character of God. Job basically says, not even heaven can shake my faith in heaven. See, when you lose the job, the dream, the child, the clarity, the voice, whatever it is, the breakthrough, when it feels like your theology is breaking or you're getting all these questions that are just multiplying, there's still a choice. Will I trust him even now? Because that is where real worship begins. Worship that costs nothing is honestly shallow. But Job teaches us to worship when it hurts, to believe when nothing makes sense, to hold on when heaven seems still. And in the end, God doesn't just restore Job. He reveals himself to Job in a way that he's never seen. No person on earth had ever seen God in this manner. And Job says this, he says, my ears have heard of you, but now my eyes have seen you. See, maybe today you're walking through silence, through mystery, through unanswered questions. But if you keep trusting, if you keep showing up in the ashes, you will see God break through. You will see God more clearly than you ever have before. And let your faith be that kind of faith that doesn't just survive the fire, but sees God in the midst of it. Because real faith doesn't need all the answers. It just needs to know the one who holds them all.